I read a really, really cool book, which is essentially kind of about this, was idealistic thinking? No, the book is called How to Think Like a Roman Emperor. I don't know if you ever read it before. No. Really, really good. I think it's the idealistic, something like that. I'm really butchering it now. I feel like an idiot probably, but it's a good book. How to Think Like a Roman Emperor. In short, basically, actually a fact, I think in the book, it was something like whenever something happens to you, good, bad, exciting, sad, whatever the emotion is, it actually happens in your body chemically for about 5 seconds. An actual 5 seconds. Anything after the 5 seconds is what you perceive, what you make it to be. So when like something bad happens, like somebody dies, you naturally are genuinely like distraught for like 5 seconds. But then if you actually grieve and did it, which is obviously normal, I'm not saying you guys need to fucking like be stone cold or whatever, but just the idea of like, you make the emotion in your head and then you like actually act it, whatever. Like for example, when you stub your toe on like a fucking like a corner, right? Like yes, it obviously actually hurts. But if you actually sit there and you go, like it'll actually hurt for longer. But if you just walk it off, like it'll go and forget about it. Stop being a pussy, right? And yeah, so the book talks about how you should never, ever, ever actually, like when something happens, again, good, bad, exciting, sad, whatever, you have two options. Option number one, can you do something about it? Option two, no, you can't do anything about it. Those are your two options in any situation. Name me any situation, you got two options, right? Cool. Okay. And then let's break it down. Okay, let's do the first option. Can you do something about it? Yes. Okay, then don't fucking worry about it. You can do something about that situation. Cool, forget it. Go do that thing then. Can you do something about that situation? No. Well, stop fucking thinking about it. There's nothing, it's gone. Stop thinking about it, right? And it's easier said than done, but over time, once you kind of program yourself to think like that, you can become less like emotional and shit. Like I talk to like my girl all the time about this shit. Like she's just always like so emotional. It's just females in general, right? Like guys are very like logistical, like straightforward thinking. Like, did this happen? Yes or no? Yes. All right, cool. No. All right, cool. Let's move on. But girls bring in like emotions and shit, right? And I'm trying to like teach her like, the fact is, did this happen? Yes or no, right? So yeah, it's a really interesting way of thinking. And in the book as well, it says can someone Google it? Is it idealistic way of thinking? Something like that. It's really going to bug me now. I'm so sorry.
What's it called, the book?
How to Think Like a Roman Emperor. I think it's called The Idealistic Way of Thinking, something like that. So it talks about in the book, by the way, what they're not saying is you shouldn't become like an emotionless person. Emotions are normal, that's fine, but you shouldn't after something happens dwell on it, right? And I think that's what a lot of people do, and that's what stops people. And this is the reason why I was saying it. It ties in everything that we've been speaking about. I think that is what stops people from actually even trying to do that thing, taking the action, just giving that fucking shot, because they're getting their emotions in the way, right? If you think about it logically, especially if you're like between the age of like 18 and like 25, you don't have a kid or mortgage. What's the worst case fucking scenario? It doesn't work, but you've learned a good skill. And well, when I say it doesn't work, we spoke about quitting. It's never not going to work. You just carry on and it will work eventually, right? That's the worst case scenario. So
on that topic, and we spoke about it briefly before, let's say one book, what are you recommending?
Just one? It depends on what. It depends on what though, innit?
What have you read that's had the biggest impact on you?
Yeah. So this I said off camera. How to Win Friends and Influence People.
This is the same for me as well.
Yeah,
this book
interesting.
This book is it's incredible.
It's the first one I ever actually read. Yeah, and it was crazy as well. And this also will go if you're watching this right now and you're in the mindset of like, but like I'm not an entrepreneur. Like I don't like reading books. I can't meditate. I'm not this type of person. Do I look like I fucking used to like read books? Do I speak like I used to be an intellectual person? No, I look like a dickhead wearing sunglasses indoors, right? But if you just pick up the book and you read it and or you try to meditate. Funny story, by the way, first ever time I tried to meditate, I actually started laughing out loud. Like I just tried it because like everyone says to do it. And I was like, fuck it, go on. So I put on this YouTube thing, like 10-minute guided meditation. I sit there like this on my chair and I literally went, what am I doing? I feel like an idiot. But yeah, so you just have to pick up a book and read it. If you don't like reading, try an audiobook. Audiobooks like we said, it's the same as a podcast.
You can do audio, like even like if you're walking the dog.
Yeah, man. Or even in a gym, whatever it is.
Yeah, there's no excuse now at the end of the day. Yeah. It's so easy and it's so accessible.
Yeah. just switching out like Spotify, whenever you listen to music, I love music. I can't live without music, but there are certain points where like I will switch it out to listen to an audiobook, like gym, for example, when you're going for a walk, whatever you're doing. Yeah. Like for example, whenever I fly, I religiously, every single flight, I will make sure I download a book on my Kindle and I got the audiobook. Otherwise I'm just fucking bored or I go to sleep. So just try and find those little times. And I think time is a really interesting conversation. We talk about time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Most people as well, another excuse most people have about not starting a business or not going gym or not reading a book is, I don't have enough time. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. If you're not running a business, well, actually some people actually might have like certain things, but most people, you definitely have the fucking time. Let me explain to you how. Do you watch Netflix or YouTube and just for dumb shit? Yes, you probably do, right? Is there certain things on the week? How many times do you go out clubbing? How many times do you go out smoking weed, right, with your friends? How many times you do just dumb shit that you know you could probably not do and do something productive? So everybody has the time. It's just you choose not to. There's priorities in shit, right? But then when you get to a level like me and you, time. Obviously, we don't spend. Like, I don't even have a TV. It's funny. Like Harry came to my apartment literally yesterday. And he was like, where the fuck's your TV? I don't even have one. I've lived there for like 5 months. Like, I can't bother to order it. Like, I'm never going to watch it. Like, again, another thing I just remembered, when I first started a marketing agency, I sold my, I think it was a PlayStation X, but I think it was PlayStation, and my TV. You remember this, innit? It's funny as fuck. I think I sold it to you. Did I sell it to I sold it to you. Yeah, I remember it. First of all, I needed the money because I was fucking broke. But also, I knew I wasn't going to be able to like watch it because I was so focused. Same as you when you say like, I'm all in. I'm all in, bro. That's all I'm doing. But yeah, so talking about time, bro, what's your like thoughts on time? Any advice for people, anything like that?
I think the biggest thing for me is that you've got to make a sacrifice, especially at the start.
That's it.
So with me, like perfect example, I was working investment banking job, long hours. I was studying to become a chartered accountant, and I was setting up Aftermarket. So like my days, they got to the point where I'd get up at like 6 to revise for my accounting in the morning. I'd start work at 9, whatever it was, finish work at, let's say, 7, 8. I'd then be on Aftermarket all night till like 11. Like,
same here, bro.
And it was like, it got to a point where, but as well, I also like, the hustle, like, and that's something that you've got to go through. But I think it made me sort of appreciate and value time more. And like, it made me, after doing that religiously, like I got in a rut, I stopped going to the gym, like I fell off, I wasn't socializing, I wasn't doing anything. Yeah. And I really, because like I said, it's 100% or nothing. I struggle to get that balance. Like that's probably like one of my downfalls and something that I need to work on, because I don't really have a balance. Well, I didn't back then. And it's made me get to a point now where we've built the business, like, and we're working on other stuff, but I've learned now to switch off and actually appreciate time and sort of enjoy the fruits of your labor. That's something that I'd like recommend with everyone. It's not like you can, for me, it's just like absolutely delusional to be like, I'm reinvesting every single penny that I make into growing this business. Like, it's like, chill out, have a holiday.
Save £6 and not buy this coffee.
Yes, exactly. It's just chill out.
Stop being a little dork. Andrew, in the words of Andrew Tate, stop being a dork. No, but it's true, man. It's true, man.
I think, and then you work, you go through that grind phase, and then it allows you to get to a point where you can have more flexibility. But if you want to drop the hammer and you want to start, like, we could do it again like that, like right now. It's something that I think is, a lot of people don't consider it, and then time passes by. You're 10 years down the line. You're still in that shit corporate job that you don't enjoy. Yeah, like, and you've just wasted so much time.
I thought you were talking about when people start their own business, right? Which is really, really fascinating thing to me. Most people start their business to be able to do what they want to do, right? Yeah. And this is the funniest photo I always see on Instagram, and I laugh out loud every time I see it. It's something along the lines of like, I quit my 9 to 5 to now work 24 hours.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, which is like funny, but all the jokes aside, right? On a serious note, a lot of entrepreneurs genuinely get into this fucking rat hole of like quitting their 9 to 5 to build their own business. Yeah, great. But if you're just by yourself, you're a solopreneur and you're doing fucking everything, right? And you're working like Monday to Sunday from like 6 a.m. to like 11 p.m. Buddy, chill out, man. You need to hire people. You need to outsource.
Yeah, that's it. The hardest thing that I struggled with, and I still struggle with it now, is switching off. Like, it's like, because it is every single.
I've accepted it, bro. I don't even switch off. Nah,
it's like, Go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say the audiobook that I'm listening to, Be Obsessed or Be Average, he speaks exactly about that. Yeah, and I needed to hear this because I've always had this issue, and I made a YouTube video about it the other day. Markus Hustle, if you want to watch it on YouTube. Sorry for the plug.
Pop up.
Yeah, so it basically, I haven't uploaded it yet, but it's basically about how I genuinely struggled with this, bro, when I first started, which was like, I need to balance like being obsessed with my job because I genuinely enjoy it and I love it and I'm passionate about it, but then also having that balance of like just not doing anything. And I'm going to be honest, maybe it's just me being like fucked in the head, but I'm more happy if I'm not working and if I'm not doing something productive. If I'm just sitting there doing nothing productive, it like irks me, bro. Like it actually makes me go a bit mad. Yeah. Like, I just feel weird.
Exact thing with me. When I was starting Aftermarket, my girlfriend at the time, like, she's like, can you not just put your phone down 5 minutes? Like, can we watch?
That is the biggest red flag.
Can we watch Netflix? Like, and I was just like, no, because like it was like aggravating me, and I was like, because like I can be productive, I can be making money, I can be doing something, and it's like I feel like if you've got that inside you, like,
no, yeah,
you've got a problem.
That, babes, get the fuck out. Are you mad? Can you put your phone down? What? You know the entrance? Can you exit? Oh boy. Nah, that's mad. Talking about girls, man. I didn't really want to talk about this, but let's talk about it.
Go on.
Fuck it. It's an interesting subject. Again, I've never had like an older male like figure in my life. Never, no older bro. Like again, so for a bit of context, just so you guys know a little bit of backstory. So I was born in Latvia, little village like out in the sticks. Mum and dad. And my mum split up with my dad when I was about 10 years old. Yeah. Unfortunately, my pops was like abusive, alcoholic. I personally don't remember it. Maybe I remember bits and that, but I was only a little kid in it. And that's why they split up. And then I moved to the UK. Just me and my mum moved to the UK. She met, which is my stepdad now, obviously, for like online. Yeah. So we immigrated to the UK. And yeah, so that's that. So I don't have older brother, nothing like that. And then I would see my dad like every 2 years or so. I'd fly back to Latvia to go visit him. And I personally only have great memories of my pops. So like, rest in peace. I absolutely love him to pieces. Sometimes I think as well, like I remember this, I went on a holiday like 2 weeks ago, and when I was in Paris as well, like the week before, I always like sit there, but I like to like sometimes sit there by myself and just think like, I wish my pops was here. Like, I wish I could just tell him about it, right? But without getting too soppy. I've never had like an older male, like older guy in my life, like just give me advice, like heads up about girls or just in general, innit? So I've always had to figure everything out by myself. And it's interesting. Let's talk about it, because there's maybe some guys in a similar situation where like maybe they're young or they're like similar age to me and you, but they're just maybe not so good with girls. The biggest piece of advice I can give, and you mentioned this earlier, is confidence. Mm-hmm. Girls need a guy that can tell them what you're doing. Don't fucking be timid, and don't be like, what about, no, like, we're doing this, let's go, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I think confidence is huge.
That's like, again, so for me, like, I feel like I was that guy. For so long, like, I was so nervous, wouldn't talk to anyone.
Me too.
Now, I go in the club, I wear like ridiculous like outfits, like stuff that's like I like enjoys fashion wise, but it's like it's not your standard guy that's wearing jeans, a designer top. He doesn't, and like, so it's like I'll be dancing on a table and a girl's like comes over and they're like, looking at, like, you stand out, you're confident, you just go for it, and then they come to you.
Yeah.
And because it's like if you like you're being the same as everyone else and you've fallen into the Matrix, you're not going to appeal, like, and that's like one of the biggest things. It's sort of like just having enough confidence to back yourself and be like, yeah, fuck it, like I'm wearing something different, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks about me, and then people like that. Yeah, standing out from the crowd. You know, it's really interesting. It's just a weird thought I just had in my head. I sometimes like that situation there. when I used to be younger, I used to smoke weed all the time. I used to watch like David Attenborough, like fucking Planet Earth and shit. And it was all about like animals and like how like the animal kingdom works and shit like that, right? I don't smoke weed anymore, by the way. I can't. I have to focus. Can I say that, by the way? About weed and shit? Yeah, say whatever.
Yeah, sure. I don't care personally. So anyway, what you just said there, how you have to stand out. I know this is such a random and weird thought, but like in the animal kingdom, I swear to God, like they have to stand out, innit? Like them birds, bro, I swear to God, bro. I would watch this video, like Planet of the Birds or some shit. And these birds, like they do everything to stand out. And it's just weird. I sometimes think like at the end of the day, humans, this also goes back to the kind of, is it idealistic thinking, by the way? Did you boys ever find out? Yeah, fuck it. Let's just say it's idealistic what you're thinking. It goes back to the root of like, and Andrew Tate talks about this as well, right? When he always talks about if you strip all of the Western bullshit back and you go back to like fucking Stone Age or whatever, right? The fundamentals is like a man, a woman, I mean, nowadays, a woman, at least in my opinion, a woman wants a man that is not only stable, but can also do all the fun things, is a bit spontaneous, a bit mysterious, right? If you tell a bitch everything that you do straight away and you just put it all out there, she won't care. Like, she doesn't care.
We joke about this all the time. When Tate says like, if like a girl says to him like, what do you do? And he just replies with, I just take care of my people.
Oh, bro, the amount of times I've told girls that I work for fucking SpaceX with Elon Musk, or I tell her like I'm a private jet pilot, like just say some funny shit that like makes her go, oh, what? What do you mean? Like, you know, obviously at some point, obviously if you want her as a girlfriend, you have to tell her the reality. But
you have to expose yourself.
But yeah, no, anyway, going back to like girls and shit, because I feel, is your majority like guys that watch it, yeah? So I just want to see if like maybe you can give some advice. I am definitely not no fucking dating expert, but going back to the whole idea of like, I genuinely want to help as many guys as possible. I feel like this is one thing that a lot of guys, at least for me personally, bro, I'm being a little bit vulnerable, but like I definitely struggled with when I was younger. I was just like, I didn't know what the fuck to do. I didn't know, should I put my arm around her or is this where she wants to kiss me and shit? Like even little things like that, bro. I swear to God, I was like the most frigid little guy ever. But yeah, so the main thing is confidence. But what breeds confidence is success. It's success, bro. In success in everything. Success in just being smart. It
doesn't have to be financial.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be just financial. Yeah. If you're good at gym, you're successful, that breeds confidence, right? If you're good at fucking, I don't know, darts, like you'll be confident in that, right? And it'll build confidence. Whatever you are good at, just realize that and build confidence from that thing. I mean, the best thing, which most of you guys probably watching this, is business, right? Like to me personally, business, when you have a shit ton of cash, I mean, I'm not that rich, but when you make a shit ton of cash, I think that's when you just build confidence, because it's like, well, I don't know, like I can do certain things. Like, yeah, go on.
I know where we can go with this. In terms of doing certain things. Where are you off next week?
Go on. Albania in 2 weeks. Well, literally, so last night, so for context as well, I've just moved to Manchester. Well, I say just, I've lived there for like 4 months or now. Time's gone quick. But so just moved here. So I'm networking with people, same as me and you, right? We just literally like got, connected. So I'm trying to network with as many people as possible that are like on the same vision as me. So anyway, long story short, I met this guy on Instagram called Harry. Shout out Harry, P Davies. And just looks like a normal geezer, like on business, making money, cool, what are you doing, da-da-da. And went for a drink yesterday. All of us, there was like 4 of us, we went for a meal, da-da-da. Met the guy for the first time, literally last night. 4 hours later, we're in Dakota smoking a cigar, talking about which holiday we should book. 2 hours later, we booked the Airbnb, we booked the flight. So, and we spoke about this off the poddy. Just having the ability to fucking do that, man, it's just incredible, bro. Like the thing is, everybody wants that, but like actually do something about it then. Like actually stop doing that thing that you know isn't helping you get there, like smoking weed or watching Netflix or whatever, and like just start a business, start something, right?
Because that freedom, like that's, I'd probably say a large majority of the UK population, it's unheard of. Like you didn't have to message your boss and say, can I get these days off work? You've got the freedom. You've built your business to a point where you've got the money to do it. You know that your business is going to tick over. You've already talked about all the content and how hard you're going to work up until your holiday, just so that when you're there, like you know that. You. Yeah, for sure. And it's like it's the little things like this, and for like anyone looking at starting their own business, like. If you're an entrepreneur, you can do this stuff. Like you can do what you want. Like you can go and move out to Bali and work from your laptop. Yeah. Like that's
why
the
wouldn't you want that, right?
Yeah, for sure. You did it with like what was it last year? Like didn't you only spend like a couple of weeks in the UK or something?
Yeah, all of last year. So not, I guess last year at the end of, what were we, 2022 now? So end of 2020 is when I really started making some decent cash. Yeah. At least for a bit of context, to me, decent cash is like about 20, 30K a month. Yeah. And I was like, all right, let's go fucking spend it. And for context as well, I've never traveled. The only flight I ever took was from Latvia to immigrate to fucking, to UK. I didn't come under a truck, like most people. Maybe I should cut it out. No, I'm joking. Leave it in. It's a joke. Come on, man. I'm joking. I'm Latvian. I can say it. no, all jokes aside, the only flight I ever took was from Latvia to UK. So I never traveled, and I always wanted to, man. Like just seeing like nice places like online. I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to go there. Like see what's there. So I used to live in a house share as well. Most people are probably from UK that are listening, but anybody who doesn't know what house share is, it's basically like a big building, like a big house with like 5 bedrooms or something. And they're just random people living there. You just rent like a room and you share like a kitchen. You share like the house, but you have your own room basically, right? The reason why somebody do that is because they're fucking broke, including me. I was paying like 400 quid for the room or something. So that's when my lease ran out on that little fucking apartment or room. And I was like, well, I have 2 options. I have decent amount of cash now. Do I either like get a nice apartment? And I remember this, bro. I don't know if you remember. Me and you went to view a penthouse similar like this. Crazy, bro. I just remembered it. This is all... Yeah, on TikTok. Yeah. So I was in a predicament, right? So do I either get a fat fucking penthouse with this cunt or do I just go traveling?
Yeah.
I remember I put it on a poll on my Instagram story, even though I already knew I wanted to go traveling.
Yeah.
And most people said traveling anyway. So I was like, cool. That just reconfirms that I wanted to do what I wanted to do. So yeah, all of last year, bro, I just lived in a fucking suitcase from Airbnb to Airbnb. We went to different countries probably every 2 months or so. And again, you build so many memories, the amount of stories you can get from that. And when you're older, you can't really fucking do that when you have a kid back at home, you know?
That's something that's so like, on that point, we've got the option to like leave here after 6 months, and that's something like I'm seriously considering doing. Like I just want to hop around. Like
and you've never done it yet?
No.
Oh,
never really traveled. So we want to go. Like I love Paris. Like I definitely want to go and live in Paris for at least a few months, but then travel around.
We should go Paris, man. We should go Paris.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, man. I recommend it. So here, I mean, I've only done it for like a year, so I'm not like no fucking experienced digital nomad or nothing. But from my personal experience, you are the same as everything, bro. There is going to be a sacrifice. In my personal opinion, the sacrifice is unfortunately your income. What I mean by that, it depends though. I feel like if me and you were to do it now, Andre, we'd be okay. We'd still make more money than if we were to sit here. But back then I didn't really have a team. It was just me and like 3 other people. And I was doing pretty much everything still. And it was fairly difficult going from Airbnb to Airbnb near enough like every 2-3 weeks. So you have to like fucking pack, and then you have to find the Airbnb, then you have to get over there, then you have to fly to somewhere else, be at the airport for a day. So there are, and like out of a month, you lose like an entire week from just sorting shit out. So back then, because I was mainly doing everything for a business, it didn't really grow. It basically maintained, which in my opinion, if you're maintaining, you are like decreasing. Like if you're not growing, you're losing.
For sure.
So I didn't really make too much money when I was traveling. However, I don't regret a single fucking second. It was so much fun. I met so many incredible people. The first time actually, you know, when we're going back to the networking thing that we're talking about, this is the first time I started this whole traveling thing. Actually, no, sorry, this is the second time. The first time I flew out to Milan, one of my students lives in Milan, first ever student pretty much. And I was just like on a Zoom call with him. I remember this as well. I was coming home from the gym. It was like 8 a.m. my time. It was like 10 a.m. his time, I think, something like that. And anyway, we're just on a Zoom. He just signed like a 2K client, like first ever one. And I was like, where do you live again? He's in Milan. I was like, cool, I'm going to get home, book a ticket, I'm going to fly. And like literally went there like that same weekend. We just hang out, went around Milan. And then the next trip was Marbella in Spain. And this is where if that never happened, bro, this is why I have the tattoo pretty much. I actually got it. Actually, funny enough, I got this in Marbella, like butterfly effect. I'm a firm believer in like, if like one thing leads to another, then to another, then to another. And if that first thing never happened, would have never happened.
That's one of my biggest things that I always talk about that. It's insane.
100%. So, and that Marbella trip is where I met like, probably there was like 20 of us that were doing what I'm doing now, like this whole social media marketing thing. I think that's when it made me realize, and them boys were doing like way fucking more than me, like way ahead. I was probably the one that's earning the least, right? And I went from thinking I'm the shit to I am like not the shit. Like, you know what I mean? And it kind of really motivated me. And then networking with people like that is just incredible. And you can't get that if you don't travel. It's really, really important.
And I think that as well, like even like how talked about booking your flight, you met this guy through like an Instagram conversation, right? So if anyone's thinking that, let's say that their circle is positive, they've not got anyone around, it's that easy. An Instagram like conversation set this whole thing up. And like the same with us. Like because it's, I feel like a lot of people feel like if the circle's not good, like they'll feel trapped, but like it's so easy to get out of it. And it's so easy to find that positive influence. Number one, in terms of like, I think a lot of people are going to be interested in this. This is probably like the question that a lot of people are thinking. So in terms of building your business and sort of like numbers, what did you hit like in your first year? Where you at now? Like what's your roadmap? What's your forecast really?
Yeah, sure. So 2018, I think, is when I first started like the whole creative agency. Yep. Unfortunately, I don't have like a backtrack or like I don't have exact numbers, but I'll just go off the top of my head. So based off of like the average, which I was probably charging about 150, 200 pounds per video. This is when I first started. That first month, first year, I wasn't really taking it seriously. I still had a 9 to 5 and I was doing this on the side. Probably a total, I made just shy of like 8-9K for the year. Probably that first year. Which I don't know, most of you probably will think is shit, which it is. But you got to think about that. You break it down into months, and I was just making an extra like maybe $1,000 a month, not even that. But like it was good because I didn't really have many expenses and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like my first year. I still didn't really look at it as a business at this point. I was just kind of like side little hustle, this and that. 2019 is when I first started realizing, okay, like I can actually make money with this. Let me just go with it. I think that year I made just over 20K. This was now me doing content creation and page management. And the end of 2019 is when I actually started learning about paid ads. Remember when I said I saw like that ad about SMA? So now going into 2020, we're in 2022 now, and it fucking hell, time flies. So I know last year I just made just over 102, 104K. I think the year before that was probably about 50, 40K. This year, we're on a pretty good trajectory. I haven't actually worked it out, to be honest. I mean, my goal is always been like $1 million a year. I just want to hit it. Unfortunately, we could theoretically. I mean, nothing's impossible. But we do only have like 6 months left. We're probably made just over a quarter already. And Andre off of camera, he was just saying like, $1 million is definitely not impossible this year, but it depends on what we're going to be doing. Like I do want to travel, which is obviously we spoke about already. Like I've just booked the trip like that. I don't know. I think that the sweet spot for me is like about 20K profit a month. I'm very happy at that stage. If it's below that, like I start to be like, what's going on? Obviously I'm still living happy, but you know, 20K is good. Anything above that, and I think the biggest month for me was probably about 60,000 profit. And there was just a lot of like, I don't know, anxiety, headache, this and that. Then again, I didn't have the team. I didn't have the systems that I do right now. So it's all about like the right time at the right place, as I mentioned earlier. But yeah, the goal is to hit that 1 mil in annual profit. So I don't care about revenue. We're probably doing like 150K, 200K revenue. But that's because, as I mentioned earlier on the podcast, our course, or not even a course, like the coaching program is £10,000. And obviously most people, if you're watching this, by the way, for a bit of context, if you can't afford the 10K up front, we do take a down payment and then you pay the rest off in monthly installments. Because the £10,000 is for the entire year. You get coaching bias, etc., and we guarantee you the clients. Obviously, to join, I completely understand most people don't have 10K liquid. So we take a down payment and then you can do the rest in monthly. So yeah, if I was to count the 10K as like the revenue, which it is, probably about 150, 160K a month. But cash collected, we're probably doing about 40, 50 a month now. Yeah.
That's so impressive, bro. Scaling from that, what was it 8K first year?
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah. I think, but then again, I haven't been doing the coaching because the coaching is a whole different ballgame. I think this is another thing that most people don't talk about, and it's a good point to maybe talk about it. Is a lot of, at least I can only speak for my industry, like the whole social media marketing agency space. It's very natural that you're going to eventually get into coaching and consulting. It's just a natural evolution. You start off by doing it yourself, then you outsource it, you have a team, and then eventually you can teach other people how to do it and you can leverage that skill. The thing about marketing agencies, up to 10K a month, very fucking, again, I was going to say easy, simple. Let me use simple. Really and truly, to make £10,000 a month, you just need 10 clients that pay you $1,000 each. You just probably need 2 people that can run the paid ads. You pay each person roughly around £600, £700 a month. Most likely in like Philippines, something like that, right? Then you can do the sales calls. You will have one appointment setter. probably pay him or her around £400 a month, just set your appointments. Now you're just doing the sales calls and making sure the clients are happy. You have somebody who sets your appointments, somebody who does the service delivery, which is the paid ads. And now you're just collecting cash, right? And the end of the month. If you're looking to scale it, to the 40, 50, 60K a month mark, again, definitely not impossible, but it's just a case of where like now you have to hire more people, your profit margins go down, there's more headache, there's more clients, etc., etc. So that's where most people go, well, what about coaching? Why don't I just do that? And that's where people figure out, oh, coaching and consulting, it's fucking piss easy if you know what you're obviously doing. Profit margins are super high because you just need a team of like 2-3 people. That is it. At the moment, for context, we have about a team of 10, but that's because that's just the way I've built it. If we really wanted to, we could have like a team of 3, honestly. But it depends on what the person wants. Me, I appreciate my time. So I'd much rather pay somebody to do things that I don't want to do. Dave is the most recent success story. Probably the biggest student, Anton. Thing is, I've known Anton for fucking time, like 2 years. He was like one of the first people to join my coaching. The guy's probably doing $250,000 right now. A month.
Oh, of revenue.
Yeah.
What, profit?
Revenue. Yeah. Probably way more than that. He works like NFT projects and things like that. But he started with car dealerships, just like me. Another one, Derek. So Derek, shout out Derek as well. Shout out Anton. Derek joined us now probably 6 months ago, Dre, something like that. About 5. Yeah, he's been a challenge. He's one of those people that like really questions everything, but I like it. Like, oh, why do you do it this way? Should I do it this way? I'm like, no, trust me, just follow what we tell you to do, and I promise you it'll work. And he's always like, no, I want to do it this way. I'm like, no, do it this way. I promise you it'll work. And he has. He has. And yeah, Derek's doing about 12,000 a month right now. Nice. Similar situation as Dave. He was in not the best situation, like in terms of like where he was living. Literally, we got him to about 13,000 a month. He lives in America. He moved to Miami. Lives in Miami now. Like insane. Like Miami looks incredible. I want to go see him.
Yeah. I'm going in September, August actually.
Yeah, to Miami. Yeah, wicked, man. Another one that I just pinged off on the top of my head. There's so many. For context, by the way, if you guys want to see some like results, if you go to my Instagram, another little plug, Markus Hustle, on my highlights, there's literally called results 1, 2, and 3. And on your highlights, you can only have so many like highlights. We genuinely have that many results. We have to have like 3 of them. So we've just, if you wanted to, go on there. But the last one I'll mention that just popped off the top of my head. The guy called Robert, shout out Robert Frisk. He's here in the UK. He joined us. He runs like a creative agency, and I remember this so vividly. He sent me a message probably only like 2 months ago. He was in the airport going on a holiday to Spain, one of like his first couple of holidays, and he just messaged me saying like, "Yo, Marcus, like, I just realized like I've literally just made money whilst waiting for my airplane, like to go to Spain on holiday, whilst I've sat in the airport. It's fucking insane. Like you've actually helped me change my life. This is unreal. Thank you so much." And this is something that me and you were speaking about off the podcast when we're changing the camera. For my marketing agency, my last niche that I was working with was with lawyers and law firms in America. Bro, I'd make these guys literally millions, like actually millions. One client, he was a personal injury lawyer, like attorney. We helped them get one client that turned out to be about $2.3 million claim. And they actually went through with it. It was successful. And the firm probably made like just shy of $1 million, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
And the guy, like, sure, he thanked us, but it was never a case of like, you've actually changed my life, right? Whereas for what we do with the Adcademy, like we'll just help somebody make an extra 5K a month and like it will literally change somebody's life. And it's just incredible. It's one of the most like best feelings in the world.
And that's where like your passion comes through. Like and this is where you're motivated. Like, and it's like, what I, like for me, and like, I think we're like sort of a similar situation. Like obviously like it's, if our customers, if we see that we can have a tangible impact on their life, like how can you get better than that? Like, you've like, and it's like, again, it's going to like the butterfly effect, right? Because they might be the ones making the money, but the kids are going to benefit as well. The wife's going to benefit, like that, the network that benefits from what you've supported them and facilitated with them. Like, it's just like, we probably don't actually have a grasp on what we've done. It's probably way bigger than like what we can actually understand right now.
So true. One of my staff, Frankie, he's literally like just a godsend, bro. Like Frankie is literally my ride or die, bro. He's my COO now. He was initially one of my students. He's the guy in Albania, by the way, hence why we're going there, right? Albania is, again, very poor country, same as like Latvia. And again, I've been able to help Frankie. Like, he helps his sister, helps his mum now. It's just one of those things, like, it's just incredible to actually see it, but to actually, and this is definitely a selfish thing, but like to deep down know that you influence that. I never say, this is one thing that I'll preface as well, by the way. And always, also another context, if you guys want to see some more like results and testimonials on my YouTube channel, or I have a bunch of like case studies, I've done interviews with these people as well. Because sometimes we get people like, this sounds too good to be true. Yeah. I just remember another one, Riyadh. He's actually here from Manchester, just around the corner, just outside of Manny. Joined us joined us at zero. Didn't even have a business, right? Literally just like just finished uni. I think he just dropped out of uni, right? Literally no business whatsoever. 6 months later, he's making £40,000 a month, right? Again, got an interview with him. But yeah, it's I was just gonna say, it's kind of like a selfish thing, but to know that you've like influenced that, like to help them do that. And on these interviews, I always say this as well. I preface, I'm saying like, in no way, shape or form am I taking all the responsibility. Like, yes, I have obviously helped. I've obviously guided them in that right direction. But at the end of the day, each one of these people that I've just mentioned, the success stories, they have fucking put in the work, right? Yep. And if they don't do it, that's somebody who doesn't get results. You have to do work. If you want to make money, obviously you need to understand it. You have to fucking do work. Even with what you teach, right? Yes, it might not be like fucking the most difficult thing and it's simple, right? But they still have to put in the work. You still have to
be motivated enough to, 100%. Once you leave your 9 to 5, to spend an hour doing something. You need to have that little extra thing, like something about you that like you're not happy with a 9 to 5. Like you're willing to like put that little bit of extra work in to improve your quality of life tenfold. That your 9 to 5 cannot do.
You know what one of my core memories, bro, talking about 9 to 5s, was the first day when I woke up after I quit my 9 to 5. I will never forget this day in my life, bro. So my last 9 to 5 was an estate agency. Like I was doing viewings. Oh, so fucking funny. I just took the like piss out of like everybody. Like I just didn't take it seriously because I knew I was just there for like just some time. If somehow my old manager's watching this, like I'm sorry, I was a dickhead. I did not have your business in my like best interest. I'm sorry. I was just there for the vibes. But I have a few stories about that. But anyway, so I quit that. And I remember so by this point, obviously I'm running my agency already, right? I can't remember how much, I wasn't making that much money, but I was doing all right. And I remember I quit it. And then the next morning I woke up and I'll never forget this day, bro. So everybody watching this, just know your day is coming soon, day like this. I woke up, I fucking flung off the bed covers. I stood up like on the side of my bed and on my mum's, I literally went, what the fuck? I could do whatever I want in my life, like for the rest of my life. Like I could do whatever I want, whenever I wanted. I didn't have somebody to like tell me what to do, be here, be there, do this, do that. I could do whatever the fuck I wanted. And I always wanted to do that since a little kid. Because that's what life's about, man. You have to do what you want to do. You know? That's how you fucking just, whatever you believe in here, the only way you're going to be able to, by actually achieving it, is by doing certain steps that will get you closer and closer to that goal. But obviously, in order to get there, you have to build your dream. When you're working at a 9 to 5, you're building some other fucker's dream, right? Like when you're working at Amazon, you're building Jeff Bezos' dream.
And this is the thing as well, like I seen like some like cheesy quote on Instagram, but it's so true. It's like, your boss is never going to pay you enough to have the house next to him. Yeah,
100%. But you know what? I'll say this as well, by the way. Talking about like whole like you have to have your own business, you have to be able to, bro. There's so many people that work with me right now. They make way fucking more money than they ever did in the last 2-3 years trying to build their own business. And they're more than happy to do that as well. Because if you work under somebody who's already at the stage where you wanted to be, for example, you actually like, it's like a kind of like a cheat code. What I mean by that is like you skip a few steps. So when you're starting a business, one of the most difficult things is trying to get like testimonials, trying to get results, trying to get the credibility, right? That you know what you're doing and why somebody should sign up with you. Whereas if you work with somebody who's already got all of that, well, you already got it. Like you just have to do whatever the task is and you just get paid for it, right? So there's both. Like don't, like for example, people that work in Apple and Google, they literally earn fucking millions, right? And like, do you think they're like, oh, but I want to have my own Google? No, like they're happy doing that, bro. So, you know, It depends. I think again, it depends what the person wants. It depends. Like for me personally, I cannot ever imagine myself ever working for somebody. I just can't. But again, there's steps to it. There was a stage where I was obviously working at a 9 to 5. I'm curious about yourself. So you did have a 9 to 5, right?
Yeah. So until November last year.
Okay. Oh,
so,
okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So I like over the like even it's longer than a year actually, like of aftermarket running and like building to like a decent sized level. Like I was still doing 9 to 5. Like I'm very aware of like how it is, and I was still nervous to quit. I had like aftermarket doing really well. We had the NFT company set like that. The plans to release that were like put in place. We just launched it, I think, actually before I left. And I was like, if the NFT company hits this amount of revenue, I'm gone. I went and sat down with the partners of the firm that I was at, and their response to me was like, they had no idea what I was doing. Like they had no clue at all. So one of the employees, we had to go to like on like a hike. It was like a team building thing, and I went and picked him up in my McLaren. And his head was just smoked. Like he was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, and like, bro, like, no one in the firm knew anything about me or what I was doing because I was literally just like like working in silence at the end of the day. And then I got to the point where like everything was going well, and I was like, so I spoke to a few guys in VC, venture capital, for anyone who don't know me, and they were like, "If you want me to invest in your business, you have to be all in. No one is going to buy into your company if you're still doing something else like a 9 to 5, because that shows to me that you don't believe in what you're doing."
100%.
So that was like a big thing for me. And then I was like, I'm just going to fucking do it. And I ended up leaving. I sat down with the partners, and they like literally said to me like, "Jack, what the fuck are you doing here?" Like, and I was like, for me, that was, by the way. Yeah, I was just like, fuck, like, and then they were like, but as well, like, and this is another important thing. It's like, and I've mentioned this before about never ever burn your bridges. Like they said to me, God forbid, if your business fail, you've got a job, pick up the phone. And that's what you want to do. Like you always want to like
leave on good terms.
Yeah, you leave on good terms. Yeah. Always maintain your relationships with people. Yeah. Like for me, it's like even like I went for drinks with a couple of guys on my graduate intake, and it's just maintaining those relationships and showing your face and like knowing that you still do care, like because you don't know if you're gonna need them one day. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's massively important.
I think it's so true. I don't think I've ever like burned bridges with anyone, to be honest, now that I come to think of it. Yeah. Again, it's one of those things that's like, it's petty to do as well.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, honestly, there is not a single person in this world that I actually like hate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I just don't care. Like if I dislike you, I'm just not gonna care about you. I don't watch your things. I don't follow you. Like to me, I ain't got time, bro.
Yeah.
Or like when people try to like gossip about like certain people, you'll never hear me just say, "Oh, you know my man, like, yeah, he's so shit." I just don't care. Do your thing, man.
And this it literally goes back to like the fucking like people on social media. Like if you've got enough time to sit there and type hate out on someone's post, like it's like there's like the issue is not what they posted. That's the issue. Like
I've never done that. I've never in my life.
I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, I just don't understand why. Like they're not even good. Like people like me, like people like email me saying, like, you need to shut down your business. I'm like, all right, Gary, like I'm gonna close my business because you just told me.
Just because your email. Yeah.
It's just like, be productive. Do something else with your time.
And don't get me wrong. There's been so many times that I've seen something online that I've been like had a strong opinion about. Right. But do you know what I do? Next. That's it. Like, I don't go out my way to like fucking type a message or a comment. I'm like, who cares, man? No, everyone's got their own little life.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Just live it.
Yeah. Let people be happy doing whatever they're doing. Yeah. Like there's like my input, like if I commented on like someone from like fucking Love Island's post, like, do you really think they're gonna see it and take notice? No.
If anything, it just fucking helps them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
It's just
and that's
attention.
one thing that was with us. So for all the hate we got, for every one person that was saying, like, you're disgusting, blah, blah, there was probably another person, well, no, there was, because our sign-ups just rocketed when this happened, but there was another person that was like, that's interesting, I want to do that.
100%.
And that's where you weed out, like, I feel like you weed out the good people from the bad.
Facts.
It's like, because why would, like, anyone who's negative, like, they're probably sat on the couch doing fuck all with life, but then there's that other person that actually sees the opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's what, like that's for me, like, that's what life's about. Like, you've just got to look around you for opportunities, because they'll be in places that you don't even consider.
You know, I just wanted to mention something on talking about opportunities, right? And just taking it and just going for it. You know, I think Tate has mentioned this. I think that's where I heard it for the first time. But it's really interesting where, like, let's just say there's a spectrum, right? It's going to sound pretty funny, to be honest. But on one side of it, you got like stupid people. And then on the other side, you got like really smart people, right? Context, I personally, before my business, I would definitely put myself in that bracket of like stupid people, right? I just didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And then you got people in the middle, right? The people in the middle are the ones that don't fucking take action. They're not stupid. They're not smart. They're in the middle and they're like, well, so he guarantees that he gets clients. And if not, he's going to give me a refund. I have them. It sounds pretty good. He's got loads of results. Let me think about it. Let me just think about it. You think about it for 4 fucking years and you never take action. The person that's stupid, he's like, sounds pretty good. Let me try it. Person that's smart, well, let me think about it logically. He gives a guarantee. He did it. He's got, fuck it, let's do it.
This is risk-free for me.
That's what I'm saying. But people in the middle are the ones that are like, it sounds pretty good. I see that he's doing all this stuff, but I don't know. What the fuck, bruv? Just do it. Just do it. And by the way, and I'm not saying like invest in me, like what I'm saying about it, you should invest in me. But in this context, I'm just saying like just do the thing that you're thinking about. Just do it.
It applies to any scenario.
Yeah.
Sure.
Nah, but overall, just trying to make a good impact on people's lives. I'm just trying to help people. I know I probably come across like a dickhead. I'm a pretty nice guy. I try to be nice. My goal, I don't really know what my goal is. My goal was to like just look after my family, which I've done. I retired my mum. I'd done that about 2 years ago. That was my biggest goal in life. But you just have to stick with it, man. And any goal that you want to achieve, you can do it, man. You can do it.
I don't really think there's a better way to round off the podcast than that, to be honest with you.
It's been a fucking pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, bro. No worries.
I think we're definitely going to have to do podcast episode 2. Part 2. Yes, a million%. Of course. We can do one. But I appreciate your time, mate. Like, do you know what, like, I'm super motivated and inspired from listening to you, bro. And like, I think anyone listening is just going to be exactly the same. But yeah,
hopefully. Just go out there and get it, guys.